I was gonna save this for episode number 100 of For Ken's Sake, but man, got so many people asking me about my thoughts on this topic, which I knew they would as soon as the news broke. I was like, all right, let's go ahead and get the video out and give people my thoughts. We'll still discuss it on the show, but it's not in the same capacity. So, for those of you that don't know, let's just get right into it. Superman is being looks like it's going to be rebooted again. Jar Jar Abrams, who I've heard nothing but bad things about, will be producing it. And Ta-Nehisi Coates, which is the reason why so many people wanted my thoughts on this. Ta-Nehisi Coates seems to be, I believe that's how you say his name, is going to be writing it. So there were other reports, which I'm not going to show, but other reports talking about that they're going the Black Superman route. So you're probably going to see Calvin or Val Zod. Either of those, both of them are needless characters that do nothing but just, again, it's the tokenism bone to give people who are familiar with Superman, but for whatever reason, they like black versions of classically white characters, and they get off and they foam at the mouth. And look, I don't know if those reports are true. What it does seem to point to is that Henry isn't going to be involved in it, which I did want to see him to be more involved in with Superman going forward, but it doesn't seem like they're going in that direction, which, again, if it happens, it happens. If there's going to be both of them existing at the same time, who knows? We'll see, but it does seem to be that they're going in that direction. And when you consider what they also did with the Supergirl casting, it makes all the sense in the world that that's where DC is going. And if you've been following them in the comic books, that's been the whole shtick. They recently had this Future State deal where it's basically just a bunch of tokenized versions of classic characters that you know. You got Black Batman, you have non-binary Flash, and all these characters that nobody asked for. But again, it's that bone that people that are more interested in film than they are comics, they like that type of stuff. You give them black versions of white characters and, oh my God, look at us. We're so represented. It's so empowering and all this other bull crap, which is just, I'm not going to sit and bore you to death with that narrative again. For you guys that are familiar with my work, you can go watch my videos on tokenism and representation and all these other quack things and concepts that get thrown out there, so people don't have to defend the position of, okay, you specifically made this happen because you want a black version of a character, which is all they want. Val Zod, I've talked about him numerous times, and the Calvin, like these are needless characters that are only there because they're black. Like, that's it. They're there to be black versions of Superman, and that's what you got. And the thing that people asked me the most about was, of course, with Ta-Nehisi Coates. For those that don't know who he is an activist, absolutely, like a guy that literally wins awards for social justice. Like, I believe one awards he's won in the past has been the Harriet Beecher Stowe Award of Social Justice. And this guy, from my own research, when I first heard that he was doing work in comic books, there was no even proof that he had even written or rather was even fan connected to this material, which leads me to believe that he only got the position because of his politics, right? And they wanted a black guy to write this stuff, and that's what they got, so they went with him. But he's absolutely an activist. Is par for the course, which, you know, again, there's a certain amount of acceptable, well, not a certain amount, there's only a particular slant. And when it comes to acceptable politics, and that's who they're hiring these days, these guys are activists, and they're going to lead with that. And Ta-Nehisi Coates, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just going to give it to you straight. He's talentless. Everything that they brought him in first for the Marvel situation. And for those of you that don't know, I have right here, he's responsible for this garbage, which is one of the recent runs of Black Panther. And it was this intergalactic empire Wakanda bull crap. You've heard me cover this many times on this channel. I'm not one of these normies that don't read books. I've actually read this guy's work. He also did with some Captain America stuff. It's all trash. He's no good. You can go watch him for his videos. When I get into specifics, yes, it was an intergalactic Wakanda, like a Wakanda sitting basically in space, and it was another dimension rather, and it was terrible from top to bottom. But he is responsible for that. One of the most recent, the worst depictions, I would say, in terms of a run when it comes to Black Panther that we've seen in any modern era, and that's what we got. Like with Kelly Thompson, these guys get rewarded. They make something that's garbage, and they give them more books. They give them more stuff to write. They give them more opportunities, and this is what you have. He's a guy that fits right in line with all their politics. He's familiar with comic books now. Again, this is a recent phenomenon. This is a guy, an older cat, yet he out of nowhere gets put on Black Panther. And since then, they're going to act like he's been part of this sort of culture, though, again, most people are going to even know him for his more social and political activism. I didn't ask for this, but I knew that this was going to happen. Look, now I think a lot of people are starting to come around when it comes to this subject because I've been right. I've been correct on this. Like, none of this stuff is by accident. They are hiring people that have little to no connection to this stuff, but they do have social preferences and social agendas. Now, is this going to be a work where we're going to have to be lectured about race and all this other stuff? I have no idea. I do believe that there will be a certain protection and shield that'll come with this, much like it is with anything else that gets put out there, be it Miles Morales or something, which if you criticize it, or rather more so the critics are less likely to criticize it because they don't want to be deemed as racist or something stupid like that, no matter how objectively bad the material is. It doesn't matter. That's just kind of the what's going to happen. It's like, okay, well, and those that do make videos that say this, they're going to say, well, you have a problem with black characters because they're NPCs. That's going to be part of their update, and they're actual idiots. Not one to miss words in that aspect, but they are actual stupid people because they cannot separate the idea that, okay, yeah, I don't want tokenized Superman. I don't want that. I don't want a Superman. Yes, there has been, when you consider the lore, which we've covered, there have been let's say, I don't want to say non-white, but yes, well, yeah, in terms of being connected to being Kryptonian, or anything like that. And it's more about the fact that he's going to be Superman. So they're trying to utilize the character that everybody knows, a lot of people love, a lot of people are familiar with, and they want to just install a black person in there to sort of, again, get folks hype on that sort of idea. I don't want that. But again, these people cannot connect that. It's like, okay, well, you don't want black Superman, therefore you don't like black characters. Again, these are really stupid people. No matter how many black original characters you give them, like, hey, no, it's a very simple thing, dude. If you want a new character, not a new Superman, you idiot. We're talking about actually making a original, fresh, actual black character. They exist. DC has created some. I got two back there on that bookcase. I got two giant encyclopedias for both Marvel and DC that are official. You can go read them bad boys, and you can see the numerous amounts of black characters. I've even done videos on that. I was talking about like why they got rid of Jet. I don't really understand, and I've discussed all of this stuff. Yet, if you actually read those, you think that, okay, wow, these guys are just neglecting these original characters. No, it's because they are lazy. They are talentless. So the best thing that they can do, instead of coming up with an original character, building them from the ground up, they act like this is original. Miles Morales is original. Val-Zod, Calvin is original, when all they are black versions of characters that we've already known. It's implied in their freaking name. We know Superman is historically or has been a white guy. It is what it is. Like, why it's like that, first come, first serve, whatever. It's like that. Now, could you have come up with an original black character? Of course. But they couldn't play on the Superman thing if they actually did that. Don't be talking about, like, I know people are going to bring up Steel and stuff like that, which is kind of the same thing that we're talking about. Slightly different. But either way, they could have come up with an original character. They're just simply not interested in it. And if you've been following the books, which half of these guys, well, not half, pretty much all these guys that they're trying to appeal to don't. So this was all part of the course. I saw all of this coming. Like, of course, it's Token. When you consider what they're doing with Future State, it's basically all new, all different Marvel. That Marvel's seeming to go in that route now, where it's all just straight up tokenism, installing characters specifically because they're black, or because of their gender, because of sexuality, or whatever. That's the direction that they're going to certainly go in. And again, it'll have that. Certainly from mainstream access media, it'll have protection like no other. You can clip this. If they are going to Val-Zod or Calvin direction, absolutely, you can expect that this is going to be one of the most protected films or wherever they're going to be appearing is going to be as protected as ever. And the main non-argument that they're going to make is that you don't like this character because they are black and some fragility or something, instead of actually coming to terms that they are actually the stupid ones. And it's not that people have issues with black characters, you moron. It's the fact that what you do is lazy and you're tokenizing characters instead of actually creating new ones. But I can say that till I blue in the face. I've been saying it on this channel I don't know how many times, and they still regurgitate this nonsense because, again, they get off on this. They get off. They love to see black, and it's enough. So to Marvel's and DC's credit, all they have to do is dangle that little tokenism bone, and then it's like, they'll Google it. Now you're gonna see all these experts. I can guarantee you that experts on Calvin and Valzad and all of that, and they're gonna, oh my God, they're awesome characters, and they're not gonna know anything about Earth 2. They're not gonna know anything about that. Well, I'll take that back. They'll become experts on it after one little wiki search or something of that nature, and it's like, well, it's different. No, it's not. They're just black versions of Superman. We've seen them with a presidents or whatever. None of that matters. It's still Superman at the end of the day, wearing the S on his chest. This is exactly for the course, but a guy that is responsible for this is now being rewarded by the other company to now write Superman. And I ain't heard much good about Jar Jar Abrams either. So, man, this is kind of amazing how we're going in this direction. But, yeah, doesn't surprise me by any means.